Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Face your husbands and stop unnecessary foreign trips in the name of preaching the gospel. Founder of Mount Zion Faith Ministry, Mike Bamiloye, tells female gospel ministers. Kano State Hisbah Board moves to shut down beating shops, threatens to arrest persons found engaging in gambling. Oriwa calls on United States, United Kingdom and the European Union to impose visa bans on Nigerian judges accused of undermining democracy in Rivers State. I am Imefonokun with this and more. The former governor of Kogi State, Bello, has again honored the invitation of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, over alleged misappropriation of funds. Bello went to the Anti-Graft Agency's office with his lawyers in the early hours of Tuesday, following the Supreme Court's judgment which dismissed state case on the constitutionality of the Anti-Graft Agency. The former governor drove himself in a black Hilux to the EFCC office with his lawyers. At the last hearing on November 14, the EFCC had sought for adjournment till November 27 in the fresh case it instituted against Bello, saying that the 30 days window was still running for the summons earlier issued. More details to come in a subsequent bulletin. The Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, OREWA, has called on the United States, United Kingdom, and the European Union to impose visa bans on Nigerian judges accused of undermining democracy in Rivers State. The national coordinator of OREWA, Emmanuel Nwobuko, who made the appeal at a press conference in Abuja, said the call is part of a larger effort to combat judicial emasculation of constitutional democracy, which, according to him, threatens the stability of Nigeria's political landscape. Clearview News correspondent has the details. Recall on October 30th, a federal high court in Abuja restrained the CBN from disbursing financial allocations to the Rivers State government. In a bold and focused campaign, the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, OREWA, argued that the ruling served the interest of a political faction allegedly loyal to former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, now the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. OREWA is pressing for international sanctions to curb judicial bias, including travel restrictions and visa bans on defaulting judges.
Stability of that River State. The petition with this, we specifically named judges, which includes the Chief Judge of Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, Justice Joyce Abdul Malik, and Justice Peter Laifu. We think the verdicts they have delivered against River States align with political interests at the expense of justice in River State. River State's constitutional democracy is under direct threat from a judiciary that appears more aligned with political agenda than with the rule of law.
Favoring the political actors instead of upholding the rule of law.
A judiciary that is not impartial threatens not only political stability but also economic progress, as it deters foreign investment in the country. We in Hiriwa are confident that sustained international attention arbiter of justice.
Drawing parallels with past international actions such as the visa restrictions placed on Nigerian justice after the controversial Supreme Court decision that overturned Governor Emeka Ihedioha's election in Imo State, OREWA believes that similar pressure could help restore the integrity of the judiciary in Rivers State. In a move to combat rising incidents of one-chance crimes and car theft, the Federal Capital Territory Police Command says it will commence arrest of vehicles without registration numbers with only one plate or using defaced plates. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer (FCT) SP Josephine Ade in Abuja on Tuesday said it will be deploying additional personnel and equipment for patrols, stop and search operations, and surveillance throughout the FCT. The statement also reads, regulations regarding covered number plates and tinted glasses will also be enforced. The PRO stressed the force's commitment to maintaining a secure environment and encouraged residents to report suspicious activities and cooperate with the police. Nigerians have reacted to the alarming rate of the country's public debt profile, with the country's current debt profile standing at over 44 trillion naira as of September 2024 and another $2.2 billion recently approved for the 2024 fiscal year budget. Economists, financial experts, and women's rights advocates have raised concerns over the negative impact of the country's debt burden on women's financial inclusion and economic development. Clayviews Florence Joshua spoke to an analyst who delves deeper into the impact of this disturbing trend on women.
According to a recent report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, women make up to 50% of Nigeria's population but account for only 20% of the country's bank account holders.
The nation's debt level is affecting them. Like when I was doing a research, because of the effect of the debt level on their business, they now do a lot and they achieve less. I also had interaction with some farmers, and they were lamenting on how bad economy is affecting them. It's affecting what the input they put into farming and what they yield as compared to previous year. The debt level is increasing on a yearly basis, no doubt. But this can be stopped, and until this is stopped, we may not really achieve much. Look at the kind of, we're talking about the 35% affirmative action. Are they really living up to it? The allocations for women, during the investigations too, I visited the Ministry of Women Affairs, and they are lamenting that what is being allocated for women empowerment and whatever what they are getting as an allocation from the federal level is meager. It's nothing. There's nothing to write home about it. And why are we having that issue? We're having that issue because the country itself is indebted. We are just making, if the debt is not in existence, all Nigerians will enjoy the dividend of being in Nigeria. Like in other climes, people enjoy, they have access to good health facility, they have access to quality education, but such is not the case in Nigeria because we are indebted. The debt level is negatively affecting women, and for this to be curbed, there is need to prioritize attention on women. Already there are some organizations that are doing things that favors women. There are some organizations that are leading advocacy on the need for women to be financially inclusive. You know, in Nigeria, women are not financially included as compared to men. They have less access to job opportunity. You come for some job, they'll say women are not preferred. They preferred men over this. Like, the men has this leverage. The gender gap is wild. And for this gender gap to be closed, there is need for more to be allocated into women empowerment. Women need to be informed. Women need to be politically inclusive. There is need for federal government to go back to its 35% affirmative action. There is a lot that women has to offer, only if they are included. But if we keep beating around the bush, incurring debt on a yearly basis, we may not really achieve the much needed change that we need. And the economy may not experience any sustainable growth.
Nigeria's soaring public debt levels poses a significant threat to women's financial inclusion and economic development. The government must take urgent action to address the root causes of poverty and inequality, including investing in initiatives that promote women's economic empowerment and adopting a more sustainable approach to debt management. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk.
The founder of Mount Zion Faith Ministries, Pastor Mike Bamiloye, has raised concerns over the frequent travels of some female ministers who often leave their husbands alone for extended periods. Bamiloye, in a Facebook post on Monday, highlighted the challenges faced by these husbands who are left to manage the local church alone while their wives undertake ministry trips. According to Bamiloye, these female ministers can ministration for 2 or 3 months, preaching the gospel around the world, while their husbands languish at home, relying on cousins, nephews for meals, adding that when these husbands try to express concerns or set boundaries, they are sometimes accused of stifling their wives' visions and callings. Social media has become an integral part of modern life. The use of social media comes with several merits and demerits for its users. Clayviews correspondent.
Well, some people say social media has done more harm than good. Many, especially the younger generation, have praised the platform for its ability to seamlessly connect them with others and provide an avenue for self-expression with opportunities for learning and creativity. With all its advantages, this downside of social media, according to some younger people, include cyberbullying, anxiety, and decreased attention span.
We're in a very civilized era where make things easy for people. The invention of telephone and digital gadgets killed the post office, right? Because it makes things easy for people. Now you don't have to go to post office to post letter or anything anymore. In the comfort of your zone, you can just, with a dial of little digit figures, you can send a message across the world. And again, we don't read newspaper often anymore. Every news you have, every news you need to hear are on social media.
Money in the social media, and the youth that think that there is no work. I think with your phone, laptop, you can able to start something for yourself. At least to be a content creator is something that is good.
People use social media for, for their own personal use. Why others use social media to blackmail people? I don't even really like it when I see someone, using the social media to blackmail others, where they are not talking about themselves. Social media is a good thing for us to be more civilized because we cannot know what is going on around us. I don't use my phone when I'm in my working place because my work doesn't permit me. When I'm outside, I do Facebook, I WhatsApp, I do chat. I'm a private person. I don't want anything to bother me because my own life, if you drag me to the internet, it's just that as if I wouldn't be able to come out for like 1 month because my life is personal.
It gives the youth voice to speak out. At least if they are passing through maybe stages, maybe the way government, the way economy is, they can voice out through the social media, being Twitter, now X, being Instagram, they can express themselves. So that is the expression is number one benefit. Number two, people cannot hear their voice because there are many organizations that actually want to help when you express, when you voice out. So those NGO, those organizations, they are ready to come for you as youth.
Prior to the previous time that there's no social media, the youth are not being informed. But now you can sit in the comfort zone of your house and go through the whole world. You can also partake in some skills. You can even go through some part-time schools and gain skills and certificates also on social media. So social media is very, very important to the youth.
In as much as we are looking at all the various advantages, it also has disadvantages too. This freedom of information we are talking about, information flies everywhere. You understand? It's good though in one way or the other. You understand? But it also affects the society.
I see social media as a dustbin. You understand? Where people throw a lot of rubbish inside. It's not left for you to pick the one that is useful for you. Because the way social media is doing, the way people are following, some people are carried away in social media activities, took the negative one more than the positive one. And that is the thing that affects our youth today.
Abusive word. People now take social media as a platform to even abuse people, to talk to people. That is number one thing that me, personally, I don't like about social media. Number two, there is bully. There is something called cyber bully. There are a lot of bully on social media. if you don't talk to their own direction of what they want, they will bully you. To the extent that that thing now have already called like this homicide, suicide to many youths. So that are the side effects of social media that me personally I don't like.
If I may weigh it in this season, the disadvantage of the social media is more than its advantage on the youth per se. Why? Because the youth consume so much time on phone, on social media, that they don't have focus on their goals of life anymore. And it's distraction to many youths that have drilled them for their entire purpose.
We are in a computer era and of the youth. What we have or what we see in the internet these days, it has gotten beyond our control as parents. Most youths indulge in cyber crimes due to they have access to social media. Also, the use of smartphones. You see a little child, you see underage students, they have big phone, they have smartphones, which they use to...
Safer use of social media platform is essential to educate younger people about the responsible use of the platform, hereby providing them with the
news on Clearview News Desk. We'll be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this.
The most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this.
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State. The planned arraignment of Yahya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. In recent years, gambling has grown to become an acceptable norm among the Nigerian society, with sports betting particularly earning a spot as one of the most thriving industries in the country, with a potential to generate 2 trillion naira in the average annual revenue and contribute about 1.5% to 3% of GDP over 10 years. The current economic crunch and other socioeconomic challenges has made it very appealing to the countries of over 200 million people, especially youth who are seeking an easy route out of the rising poverty levels in the country. However, with these potentials comes some cost which sometimes may be too heavy to pay. In the special report, Clearview's Gloriata takes a retrospective look at this highly controversial industry and presents you its good, the bad and the ugly side. The report.
Sports betting is a thriving business in Nigeria and many other countries of the world. In Nigeria, it has a long history dating back to the pre-colonial era. However, it wasn't until the 21st century that sports betting became a popular pastime in the country. The first form of sports betting in Nigeria was known as pools betting, which involved predicting the outcome of football matches. Pool betting was introduced by the British colonial government in the 1920s and was initially targeted at expatriates living in Nigeria. However, it soon became popular among Nigerians as well and remained so until the 1990s, which saw the emergence of a new form of sports betting in Nigeria, formerly known as sports lottery. Sports lottery involved betting on the outcome of sporting events, such as football matches, in many ways. However, sports lottery was run by private companies rather than the government, and it offered higher payouts than pools betting. Today, sports betting is a thriving industry in Nigeria and has seen significant growth, all thanks to the worsening economic hardship, growing poverty and unemployment, which have made it difficult for the average individual to meet their basic needs. Despite its popularity and enormous potential, sports betting in Nigeria is not without controversy. Some critics argue that the industry is exploitative and preys on vulnerable populations such as the poor and unemployed. They believe it further fuels negative vices among youths in the country.
Anybody that has a good thing is doing shouldn't have time for gambling. Gambling at any time, on any level, for any reason, encourages people lay back among our youth. It does not encourage proper enterprise among our youth.
It shouldn't be encouraged due to the fact that if we venture into it, our kids might not actually see the value to normal life, like education, the value to work for money. You understand? That's the negative part.
However, for people like Raji Ohida, a sports betting agent and other bettors, sports betting is a harmless form of entertainment that can be enjoyed responsibly while providing an alternative source of income for its users.
Positive impact of betting. It creates lots of revenue, employment, and turning people into millionaires overnight. So then the negative impact, I think, is totally curtailed because you see it over there that you should bet responsibly, in the sense that you should use your spare money and you should be up to 18 years.
For me, the game is a kind of smart game, and it's not something that you be addiction to. You understand? It's a kind of smart game that depends on how you play it, that matters to you. But me, the kind of game I play, and it really helped me a lot because I double my chances each time I have the chances I get, and I collect what I want to collect.
It has lifted so many people out of poverty. This is what really has encouraged young men not to steal. Unless you have that blood, the gene in you that you should be stealing.
I had somebody using a school fee to play bets. It's not encouraging. I fit myself, so I take my own responsibility. So I hit on what to play, when to play, and when not to play.
According to the Nigeria Sports Betting Sector Report 2019 and 2020, nearly 60 million Nigerians between the ages of 18 and 40 years are involved in active betting, with almost 2 billion spent daily on sports betting. Although the industry is relatively large compared to similar sectors, its potential is yet to be fully explored. Aware of its capacity in Nigeria to create employment opportunities, through the National Lottery Commission, the government is in a position to design and implement reforms that would help regulate the bettors. Gloria Atta, reporting for Clearview News.
Meanwhile, the Kano State ISBA board has threatened to arrest any person found gambling, even as it moves to shut down betting shops with renewed determination. The ISBA board, while justifying the move, insisted that betting is illegal under the state Sharia law. Recall that the Supreme Court had last Friday overturned the 2005 National Lottery Act, which established the National Lottery Commission and legalized sport betting and gambling across the country. Similarly, the court ruled that the gambling regulation falls under the jurisdiction of state government, marking a significant shift in the oversight of the industry. However, the ruling has sparked immediate reactions, particularly in Kano State, where Islamic Sharia law operates alongside federal laws. The Director General of the State ISBA Board, Abba Sufi, disclosed that the board will crack down on betting establishments, stressing with renewed determination since betting is illegal under Kano State Sharia law. According to him, with the recent court verdict, the controversy over who should be in charge of lottery legislation, the government and the state government, has been settled. Sufi said the lottery law had been a source of contention due to its perceived endorsement of gambling, which is forbidden in Islam. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. Founder of Mount Zion Faith Ministries, Pastor Mike Bamiloye, has raised concerns about the frequent travels of some female ministers who often leave their husbands alone for extended periods. The Kano State ISBA Board has threatened to arrest any person found engaging in gambling, even as it moves to shut down betting shops with renewed determination. We also told you that the Human Rights Writers Association of Nigeria, RIWA, has called on the United States United Kingdom and the European Union to impose visa bans on Nigerian judges accused of undermining democracy in Rivers State. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Clearview Online. Many thanks for watching. I am Imifono Kun.